What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
But just barely, Ben. Just barely.
But just barely indeed.
Just barely indeed.
Goodness gravy. I was going to say gravy and gracious, and I came up with gravy.
Yeah.
No, gravy was correct. Man, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Yeah, so in the world of Super Carlin Brothers office life,
Yeah.
we find ourselves in this constant position of like basically just dealing with one person being out of office for one reason or another, or a vacation is just around the corner, or we have like a trip that we're going on for this, that, or the other.
Holidays.
It's always something, and I feel like we're always doing our absolute best to like get all of our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
But like the rare weeks of the year that exist, which are just like unscathed, you know, like there's nothing else going on. It's like we have nothing but like meadows and fields and like plenty of place to frolic and dance and spin in the circles.
Yeah.
You know, as butterflies swarm around us. You know, it doesn't happen often, and
No.
we are inside of one of those windows of time where it should be happening.
It should be happening.
And unfortunately, last week, of course, we talked a lot about how my family had COVID, and so I was out of office with that.
Yeah.
And then this week, your family has the flu.
They sure do, Ben. They sure do. Not my whole family, thankfully. It is just Luke and Beth. But I'll tell you, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. I mean, thank literal God that it's not me and Nick and Nate as well, because I don't know what we'd be doing. It has been a very long 6 days at this point where Luke has had a fever the entire time.
Yeah, I don't know. That has got to be so, like, I feel so bad for him, because there's nothing worse than that like feverish state of just like your bones physically ache.
Yes, it just seems like it just bounces all around. Like just the random parts of his body would just be like, just this hurts, and it's like, I believe you.
Yeah, right. Like, and that's the thing too, is that it's like, you know, as parents, there's always these situations where they like your child could have something going on, and it's sort of like, well, you know, like, I don't even know. Tough. That feels like the wrong way to handle that situation. But like with this, it's like you just like, you know, that they're in agony.
Oh,
and it's just like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like it's like, can I just grant you the fact that I am 100% sure that you are not exaggerating at all?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It is that bad.
It just sucks. And it's, you know, I keep thinking like tomorrow is the day, you know, like everyone's going to wake up. We're going to feel better. We're going to eat better. We're going to be able to leave the house. And that day just keeps, it seems like, doesn't just not coming. I feel like normally if you got like a fever or something, like maybe you feel bad like all week, but the fever itself like dies down after like 2 or 3 days or something.
Right.
And they're like, I guess, you know, we've called the doctor and stuff, and they're like, yeah, it's been lasting about a week. And it's like, oh my gosh, please no.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. And like, you think it'll be getting better, like, you know, we're sort of like rotating like ibuprofen, Tylenol, and, you know, like I think like 2 nights ago or something, we were in like a real good swing where it was like we had like Luke's fever had managed to drop down to like 99 or something.
Right.
It was like he seemed like he was in a better mood. We were about to go to bed. It was like he was at 99 like towards like the end of a cycle, you know. So it was like, all right, we're about to go to bed. You're gonna take more medicine that's gonna keep the fever down even longer. You're gonna like punch this flu in the face with a whole night of sleep. It's gonna be great. And I woke up the next morning. It's like 103. It's like, oh my gosh,
like,
this is
no.
Everything was there. What happened? Stupid disease.
Had the recipe for success and nothing.
I know. It felt like I was ready to dunk this thing.
Is there anything more relatable though than that feeling that you have like when you're sick and you're laying in bed and you're just like, why did I take my health for granted all those days? It's
No.
like, whenever I'm healthy again, I will not take it for granted.
Will not take it for granted. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna drink water. I'm going to get the flu shots. And, oh, man, that's my pick of the week, man. Flu shots. Get them.
Get them. Do it.
Get them, because you don't want to be dealing with this.
Get out there and get your flu shots.
Get out there. And, yeah, so it's been, I don't know how me and Nick and Nate have dodged it. I hope we continue to dodge it, because it's terrible. It's terrible. And it's like, yeah, and then because Beth is also sick, like, she's not super up to handling all three boys all all day, every day herself. You know, she's just like, I don't know, slowly moving about the house. She's clearly aching and stuff as well. So it's just been very long week.
Well, let me ask you, has there been any, like, I know that you're particularly adept at handling like sort of like your own like downtime, like where it's just like J time to go and do stuff. Whereas like me on the other hand, like Alice went out to dinner with one of her friends last night, and that meant that, like, you know, I got home from work, she left, me and Addie did our thing, we ate dinner, did bath time, bedtime, like the whole routine. And there's about 45 minutes that took place between the time that like Alice or between me putting Addison to sleep and Alice coming home, where I just like sat at my dining room table in the dark and like twiddled my thumbs and was just like, what do I do?
You did nothing?
Like I was just like, I'm so bad at just like being alone. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like I have like no activities that like I'm just like planning. Like, oh man, as soon as I have like a window of time, can't wait to go and just like spend it doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, all my time, like, it's always with people. So I don't know what to do, but I feel like you've always been good at this.
Yeah.
For forever.
Not only am I good at it, it's basically what I'm craving most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah. It's like you need it to like refuel the tank.
Absolutely. I definitely need it. And there is like a little bit of that where it's like, typically if like me and Beth find ourselves in a situation where like all three kids are down for like quiet time, it's like, oh, maybe now we actually get to spend time together. Like we put, you know, people down for bed and it's like, you know, we'll go watch some TV or something. But yeah, certainly like Beth herself has also just been really tired. So it's like, you know, it's quiet time like for Beth too. So it's like there has been a bunch of times over the past week where it's like, well, I do just sort of have some alone time.
Yeah.
Here. So yeah, I've been getting some stuff done.
I mean, that's great.
I mean, getting stuff done. It's just like things. Like, I mean, it can be as easy as just like watching a TV show that I know Beth isn't going to want to watch.
Oh yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah,
100%,
or there was a new set of Pokemon cards that just came out, Silver Tempest, which we're going to start opening on box breakers really soon. But you had a couple of boxes of those. It was just like, well, this is a fun thing to open while no one can bother me.
I mean, honestly, that is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I know that the big shipment came in, so like this is like every kid's from the 90s dream.
Yeah.
I feel like is sort of like what we get to do with like the box breaker show, because like I remember as a kid, like the opportunity to go to the store and like, you know, berate mom with the question, can we go look and see if they have any Pokemon cards? And then they had to have them, which they frequently didn't.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was the other thing is that, yeah, I remember like wanting them badly, and you'd go to like Walmart and even mom would even be like, yeah, you can get some. And it'd be like, okay, where are they? I don't even know where in the store they are.
Right. Yeah.
Like there wasn't like a card section. I feel like you just had to get lucky and like find them on the end of an aisle sometime.
Yeah. And a lot of times you get to like that aisle and like they're just like cleaned out completely.
Yeah.
Like it should have been much more obvious that these were going to be like extreme collector's items someday, because like even then it's like you go to like the Hot Wheels aisle and like there are like plenty of Hot Wheels to choose from. You go to where the cards are supposed to be and they were just not on the shelf. But either way,
yeah.
Now like whenever we're starting now a new season of box breakers, it means that I have shipped to my house like all of the cards that we're going to open.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool that like we got those in, and then you swung by my house and picked up a couple of boxes. To crack open.
That's right.
For recreational purposes.
Exactly. Well, there's a big tournament next weekend here at our local store where you can win a box of cards.
Are you gonna win?
I have no idea. It's an interesting tournament because it is the new set that just came out that we just opened the boxes for won't be legal at the tournament.
Okay.
Like it normally like it comes out and then like 2 weeks later is when it becomes like legal for tournament play. But so it'll be the past set stuff that's legal in tournament. So the tricky thing about it though is that those cards have all been released online. So if like you want to go, like if I wanted to prepare for this upcoming tournament, I have to, you know, fit my deck with all the old cards. And if I want to like go just jump on random matches online, it's like, well, duh, everyone's using all the new cards. So
of course,
it's like,
yeah.
It's hard to know, like, are my preparations paying off? Because I'm not really practicing against things that I'm going to be up against because everyone's just moved on.
Right. Yeah, that's a weird handicap.
Yeah, weird handicap for this specific weekend, after which everything will just be legal. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with on that particular front. Not that I've had tons of time to play a lot. That's the thing. I opened the boxes. I haven't played PTCG a lot because I think I talked about this in After the Final Pop, but there's also been a new like Marvel card battler that came out just on mobile.
Yeah.
Of which there are no physical cards at all. It's just all mobile. But it is so fun. It's called Marvel Snap. Not sponsored. Just would recommend if you like card games. It's so fun.
You have been playing it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've noticed a fair bit. If they had real cards, would you get them?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I always really love about the creativity of this game is that you could not play it in real life. Like,
how is that?
it's because it takes advantage of the fact that it's all digital. Right? So there'll be cards that are like,
I see.
It'll be like when you play this card, the two most left cards in your hand get +2 power.
Yeah.
You know what it's like in real life, there'd be no way to keep track of stuff like that.
Right.
You know, or it'll be like there'll be like locations and it'll be like when this is revealed, add a random card to your hand. And by random, they mean any card in the game, whether you own it or not. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, whoop, oh.
Anything goes.
Yeah, anything goes. Yeah, so stuff like that is that like it's like it really takes advantage of the fact that it's digital only, and that's really fun. Like that they like incorporated stuff like that into it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm enjoying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I
Yep.
like it. Okay, so I feel like this is like an interesting note to springboard off of because I did just give the example of like my evening where I had nothing to do by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and like obviously if I could just get into a game like this like you do, I would always have something to do.
Was this last night?
This was last night.
You could have turned on the Commanders game.
It wasn't on yet. It wasn't on yet. It was a great game though.
Oh, did you watch it?
I caught like the second quarter of it, where it seemed like things were going well for the Commanders, and ultimately they did go well and they won.
They did go well. I couldn't believe it.
They beat the undefeated Eagles.
Yes.
I feel like we're playing a game of podcast conversation right now, which is like how many people can we just like Venn diagram out of the conversation on the basis of interest?
It's so weird because like sometimes when you talk about football, people just have like people will glaze over. They have like no interest at all. But like I think you underestimate how many people like love football at the same time.
It's true. It's true.
Like this morning, I missed most of the first half of that game, and I turned it on, and I turned it on at the start, and I was like, "Yep, 7-0 Eagles. That seems about right." And we were about to head upstairs, and I turned it on, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're winning." So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna stay up and watch the rest of this. We'll just see what happens. As soon as we totally like stumble out of the starting block and fall in a ditch and die like we always do, I'll come upstairs.
Right.
Yeah. Which is, I was just like, literally, it was like one of those where you were listening to the commentators and like they're just saying all these nice things about your team, and you're like, yeah, just wait, you're just gonna see.
It's like you clearly haven't been watching as long as I have, commentator man.
I know. I'm like,
what did you get a career calling games?
Yeah, Troy Aikman.
But you've never even watched Washington play football / played against them.
The weird thing is almost every Washington game is called by Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Like they're always on Fox and they're always calling Washington.
Interesting.
Which is funny because he played for the Cowboys, but whatever, not important. Like that just like I always feel like whenever I'm like watching my team lose, the commentators are just like, man, the other team is just playing great. They are just such a good team. Here's all the things they're doing right. And I'm like, God, I don't ever get to experience this.
Right.
And it was
what is that like?
But this was that night. I was like, oh my gosh, they're just saying so many nice things, and they're winning, and they're beating the undefeated Eagles. And like they're not even being like the Eagles are really stalling. This is mostly, it's not that Washington's winning, it's that the Eagles are losing. And
right.
Like,
yeah. That's the best you normally get. Being a Washington
exactly.
fan. It's just like, well, the other team is has run their own selves into the ground badly enough that they have left the door open for Washington to possibly win.
Exactly.
Not even a guarantee.
Right.
Not even a guarantee.
That's exactly what it was like. It was like, no, Washington, they are just playing better. They have possessed the ball like 90% of the game. And then they eventually won, and I couldn't believe it. And it's like, but anyway, my point was that this morning when I was like watching the highlights from the first half, which I had missed. I just found like the video on YouTube, and the game ended around like 11:30 at night. It already had like 1 million views.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, how much, like, whoa, like so many people have already watched this.
Yeah.
Like it could have only just gotten up, And like, you know, the results, like tons of people were already watching it. Like, now to be fair, this was like the last undefeated team losing for the first time all season. So maybe people were like, what? And to Washington of all teams are like, what happened?
Right.
But
yeah.
at the same time,
I gotta see this.
yeah, exactly. But it was just like more people care. More people care about football than sometimes I think, which is a ridiculous statement because tons of people like it. But
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I always just think it's interesting because it's like through the course of any episode of like the Pop, where we will bring up like a variety of different topics, I am always, I feel like, quietly aware in the back of my mind the fact that it's like at some point you're almost doing like have you ever seen those Lego sorting like buckets, and it's just like layers of it's just like different, like it's like a sieve effectively.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you can like dump all your like bulk Legos on top, and then you start shaking it, and then like it'll slowly like trickle down till you get to the bottom where like the only ones that can fit through are like the 1x1s or whatever.
right. So it'll sort them for you.
It'll sort them for you. Yeah.
That's such a good feeling.
It is a really good feeling, which is absolutely amazing. But the thing that I frequently feel like as an episode of the podcast progresses, especially as we just completely bounce from like one random topic to another, is the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, so like that was, we just lost all the 4x4 squares. Like, you know, they were just like, yeah, I'm signing off. I don't know enough about this particular topic, so I'm out. It's like, I always think like, by the time we get to the end of an episode of the Pop, it's like, who made it all the way to the bottom?
Nah, dude. Everyone's making it all the way. At this point here, though, like at episode 154, you know, like we've shaken the sieve so many times that like the people who are starting at the top are ending at the bottom. You know.
Okay.
You know, we filtered out all the good people, all the bad people.
I liked the
not the bad people.
Good choice of words. Yeah.
All of the terrible people are gone.
Just truly awful.
They're not listening to this show. Get out.
Oh my god, no! I do like. I like where you're going with that. Yeah, it's like what we've done is that we have done the show long enough that we have filtered out basically the best people that the human race has to offer.
Exactly. Now the real show begins.
All right, guys.
Everything before this was just the prelude to the actual show.
Buckle up. Episode 155. Stuff's about to get real.
That's right.
Anyway,
so you had a night alone,
I had
or
a night
45 minutes alone.
45 minutes alone, and I mean, goodness gravy if I knew what to do with myself. I didn't know at all. But I have had this like really kind of like interesting phenomenon as it pertains to like the fact that we do this podcast and sort of like semi-related to like mental health, which, you know, I've talked about like a bunch over the years. And I've sort of found myself in a very interesting position, and I don't think this is too much of an overshare, but I was in fact talking to my therapist about this like air quotes problem, which is to say that it's not a problem. But it is what I will call my brain calm.
Your brain calm.
My brain calm.
Instead of a brainstorm.
Instead of a brainstorm, I have a brain calm.
Yeah.
And the thing that's been very interesting about it is that like I've talked a lot over the past several years about like kind of dealing with depression and anxiety and like a lot of the different stuff around it, and like I've been like on medication, off medication, like, you know, it's definitely been like a journey where I felt like throughout the entire process, there was a lot of stuff that like had to be done, like a lot of like action that I was having to like take that was causing things to pretty much get like worse before they could get better.
Okay.
For what I would consider a fairly long stretch of time. And the difficult thing when you're like inside of that storm is that it feels like it's just been going on effectively like forever.
Yeah.
You know, but like what you're doing is you're like making a bigger mess so that you can clean, so that like everything can be like cleaned up.
Okay.
And like when you're on the other end of that, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, thank goodness I did all of those things because like I have benefited from them, and it's like they were the right things to do. But when you're in the middle of it, I mean, it's just pure the absolute like noise and chaos and stress and like anxiety and all the rest.
Yeah.
And so I say all of that to say that like I feel like I've done a lot of stuff, and I've been really proud of myself for like the journey I've been on and like the commitment that I've had to it and everything. But the really unusual thing that I didn't anticipate is that coming out the other end of it, and I don't even know if I'm completely out of it, but like I have found myself to just be like a lot calmer. And as a result, I also feel like I just fundamentally have less to say.
Okay.
Which is
Like you have less to talk about?
It's like I have less to talk about. I even have like less of a compulsion to like speak up during like group conversation. Like I'm much more okay just like sitting back and like listening.
Yeah.
You know, or just like letting the conversation like happen around me. Or if there's like a scuffle or like ooh, you know, like let's pick this topic apart or whatever. It's like I'm much more willing to like stay out of it just completely.
Yeah.
I don't need to like toss my like 2 cents into the equation. And on the whole, I think that's made me feel like a whole heck of a lot better and stuff. But there's also the aspect of like coming into record this show and my knowledge of the fact that it's like I need to have something to say, and this is like it's like a new problem to be like, is there nothing new that like I need to specifically talk about or discuss or like want to like, you know, bring to the surface. But then in addition to that, it was like how much of what I was saying was being spurred on by like the anxiety or the depression or whatever. And like it almost made me wonder how frequently I was having like much bigger problems that my brain was then trying to like you know, turn into these like otherwise pie in the sky discussion-y type things, so it would come out as like everyday conversation. Like I was taking something like really complicated in this year,
right,
letting it process through my brain, and then like delivering it out on this side as sort of like, hey, let me pose a question for you about this thing,
right?
And it's like it's like a very on the whole just a very good problem to have.
Yeah.
But I've got myself like some brain calm.
You got your brain calm.
But the other thing that's happened, so for one, is that like, yes, I did have like this 45-minute stretch last night where I basically had nothing to do, but I was also like fine, which I was very like pleased with.
Yeah.
Like typically I would say that like me having nothing to do usually just means like a window of time for like my anxiety to just be
like time for some thought spirals.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why don't we turn the volume up to 11 on those and see how things go? So I think that's good, but I've also found myself thinking like that I've been enjoying a lot of the stuff that like I had stopped enjoying for a long period of time.
Oh yeah, like what? Like football?
Like football?
Yeah.
I would say football's been like a really big one where like for the longest time, like going back to you know, like my like middle school, high school days, like I was so into it. Like if I was watching like Virginia Tech play or Washington or you know, like we grew up and our dad was like a Patriots fan, so like the Patriots, you know, I would be like yelling at the TV.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I mean, I would like watch a TV or watch a game from like the couch at home, and at the end of it, like not have a voice left.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's like
who were you yelling at?
right,
Yeah.
no one can hear me. But like, you know, I've like envied it about myself so much because like I look back on it and like recognize just the sheer irrational nature in which I consumed this thing. But it was like it was that I was enjoying it like so unabashedly.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
I don't think there's anything irrational about it at all.
no, well, I mean, like if well, I don't even know how to like phrase
I know
it.
what you
Like-
mean. I know
like-
what you mean. Like you are by yourself in a house yelling at a screen.
Yes.
For the results of which, you know, don't really affect your day-to-day life that much.
There is
It's not,
something,
you know, you're not like betting on the game or anything. Or
Right.
maybe you are. I
No,
don't know.
no,
you're not.
I haven't been. No, the outcome I would say is ultimately like fairly frivolous. Like it's almost like maybe like the beautiful thing about sports is that it's like a really, really, really fantastic way to care a lot about something that maybe if you really zoom out doesn't matter.
I mean, it's so weird to say that because I feel like you can step backwards and, you know, observe sports and be like, the outcome of this game makes no difference or whatever. It's like, maybe not even to your daily life, but like at the same time, like, I don't even know if that's always true, you know, like, I remember one time you were at this game. It was for your birthday. Okay, it was your birthday. We were at the Virginia Tech Boston College game in Blacksburg.
It was my 18th birthday
It was your
in the rain.
It was your 18th birthday. It was pouring. It was Thursday night football. It was ESPN in Blacksburg. It was Virginia Tech versus Boston College. Boston College is presently ranked number 2 in the country coming into this game. Their quarterback at the time was Matt Ryan, who would go on to have a pretty good NFL career. Maybe you've heard of him.
Yep.
Anyway, we are all standing out there like freezing, screaming, having a great time. There are 2 minutes left in the game. It is 14-0 Virginia Tech on top. Like, oh my gosh, we're going to do it. We're going to upset Boston College on national TV in the rain on Thursday, and we're here.
Yep.
This is amazing. And guess what? We lost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we sure did. We sure did.
And it was, it sucked. It came down to, we lost 17-14. Matt Ryan came down, just threw two touchdowns and a field goal or whatever. In the last 2 minutes of the game, no one could believe it. The whole stadium was stunned. And first of all, Boston College would get their comeuppance and lose in the ACC title game to Virginia Tech. So whatever. Ayo, no big deal. Whatever. Yeah, it was awesome. That was a great little comeback story right there for the Hokies. Anyway, though, let me just tell you, Ben, that to say that game didn't matter would have been, if you were on campus the next day, was just inaccurate. The entire school was just like heads hung. There was like a glumness, palpable in the air. Our professor, my professor in our first class, it was like a room of 300, 400 students, literally stopped our lecture halfway through and had to pep talk the class.
Oh my gosh.
Because everyone was just like,
we can pick ourselves up.
Yeah, they're like, guys, it was just football, all right. And it was but it's clearly it was more than that. It was this whole community was about to rejoice in this great thing, and then everyone had it snatched away from them, and you could collectively feel it.
No, I know, and you're absolutely correct. I'm not saying that there isn't impact.
Yeah,
to say that it doesn't matter. Nobody actually cares. Type of thing. It's like if we launch the very first rocket that could ever go to space, and it successfully happens or doesn't happen, then we commiserate or celebrate on the basis of that outcome, and the basis of that outcome then determines okay, now we are or are not going to space.
Right.
The world will be changed forever by the fact that we can now accomplish this new feat.
Yeah.
On the flip end of things, it's sort of when it comes to the end of the Super Bowl, for example, it's kind of it could be your team versus your team's biggest rival, and it's depending on who wins, depends on which part of the world celebrates and which part of the world doesn't celebrate, and
right.
That type of thing. But we're not more technologically advanced at the end of the process.
Sure.
But but that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm saying that is what I personally find to be amazing about the function of sports in our world.
Yeah.
Is that it's they don't have to mean anything. It's the fact is that it is a way to just literally bring people together.
Yeah.
To care about something.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Yeah. But it's it can serve greater purposes too. The movie, Remember the Titans or something.
That's
for
true.
example.
That's a good point.
Now it's a dramatized movie for sure.
Right.
Obviously. But the whole movie, it takes place around football, but watching it as an adult, it is so not obviously it's not about football. It's about racism and stuff.
Yes.
But as a kid, it was all about, to me, it was oh, the football. Yeah. Look, everyone's coming together. As an adult, it is it is sort of, it is around football.
Yeah.
The movie, I just rewatched it a couple months ago. I was man, this movie, first of all, ages amazing and is still so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Left
it is
side!
strong side. Oh man, so good. I was just I was watching. I was this movie hits so many. It's almost every scene is about racism in a way that as a kid I did not pick up on.
It just it didn't necessarily click. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point. It's a good point. And it would be very curious to examine almost a an alternate reality, if you will, where sports never did,
never existed,
never happened,
right?
And it would almost be fascinating to see whether or not what would take place in its place. What would be the thing that people would ultimately like specifically like rally around, or like what would become like the underdog stories,
Right.
and like, you know, like how is there certain like inevitabilities associated, like with how we as like a species interact with one another, where we will always find the energy that exists around sports, but like say, you know, like yeah, like a ball to play with was never invented, and therefore like there was never that thing to create everything else around.
Right.
I don't know.
I think sport is inevitable.
You think sports inevitable?
I think yeah, sports is Thanos, man. Sports is inevitable. Sports will always happen. Games will always happen. Like, you don't even have to tell kids what games are. They'll just make them up. They'll
Yeah.
just go. They don't have to have any preconceived notion. They'll just create. They'll just imagine them into existence.
Right.
Like, on their own. And that, I mean, that, like, and that's all kids everywhere all the time. And they're not being told. And, you know, they grow up and now, you know, then there's, you know, much more sophisticated real, you know, games with competition and professional athletes and stuff. But
well, this is like what it always comes down to for me. It's like I've asked this question about like music before, and I feel like you can apply it to the same thing. But it's like, did we invent music or discover music? And it's like, did we invent these games, or do we like are they like naturally occurring things that like are just meant to be discovered?
oh yeah, like if you restarted civilization, would they still get to basketball?
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
yeah,
It's like probably. I mean, it would be so interesting.
That is well, here's the thing. I bet no matter what, you end up with like track and field. You
Probably
know?
so,
Like,
yeah.
maybe you don't end up with like the exact same ball sport, but I bet every civilization comes up with who can run the fastest.
Probably so.
You know,
yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Who can jump the furthest? Who can just do these things? Maybe you don't, or like maybe you don't have like the spear throw or any of the things that have like complementary things. But I bet there are certain things that are almost inevitable.
So the other thing that's kind of fascinating about this is because there's like the almost absolute requirement for the civilization to have excelled well enough in order for leisure time to be an aspect of the society, because you have to have like reached a point where it is like okay for people to be going out and exerting lots of energy.
Yeah, in ways that aren't about survival.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's like another interesting like aspect of it when you think about like how these things came to be for
Right.
the first time.
But so do you think like, then like cavemen didn't have like games of any sort?
It's a curious question.
It is.
I suppose that there's always it's possible that like in lieu of physical athletics, it's possible that something like tic-tac-toe could have been invented
Right.
a lot sooner, and like maybe that's like the basis. Like it'd be very interesting if you could make the argument that like humans need to like have like recreational competition is almost partially like what would have spawned, because like let's just say you're caveman and let's just say the only thing you can do is tic-tac-toe, then like surely the way that you could like move up or gain like notoriety within your civilization would be to be better at the strategic game of tic-tac-toe, which would then encourage like additional intelligence of some capacity, which could then invent like more complicated versions of gameplay.
Yeah.
So it's like literally at that point in time, you'd be making an argument for like recreation is literally what like drove intelligence forward as like a priority.
Right. Yeah. Like, ooh, yeah. That'd be so interesting.
That would be very
Yeah.
interesting as
Oh,
like
man.
as an origin story for it.
Yeah. Like it's always about games. Okay, I just Googled like what is the oldest game. It says the very first one, the very first result is Go, also known as Wei Qi. It is this is what I feel like if you've seen Knives Out, this is what they're playing.
Okay, yes. Yep.
Yeah, with the white and black stones.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like whenever I see Go being played in like a movie or on TV or something, I always think it looks awesome. I have no idea. I think it is about trapping your opponent's stones inside of your stones.
Okay.
I think that's how it is, but each side has like 200 stones or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I think like it's one of like the oldest and still like most like complicated games.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Moncala. Is that the name of that game? Like where you've got
I
like,
do have that. Yep.
Yeah, like it's like all the little like scooped out. It's like wood, and you got like marbles or something, and you sort of like continuously play like back and forth and try to like, I don't even know what the objective of it is.
You want more beads on your pot or whatever.
In your pot, okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you determine how beads move?
So when you've got 6 little cups in front of you on your side of the board, and then your like gathering pool on the right, and then the same is true of your opponent. They all start with 4 each. If you pick up the beads, however many beads you pick up, you drop 1 bead in each cup moving forward.
Okay.
And then if your last bead ends in your cup, your finishing spot, you get to go again.
Okay.
And if your bead, if the last bead lands in an empty cup, you get to steal what's on the other side.
See, now this feels like the type of game that could have been invented.
Yeah.
Like very early on.
It does, right.
I'd be curious to know.
It feels
like,
very
whether or not-
old.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing I always like about these very early games is there's like a part of me that's like, I always like how like the stones themselves seem like so perfect.
Yeah.
You know? Like I remember we had a game growing up called like Othello.
Yes,
and
I was just thinking of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the pieces, like what I would really love is like Othello, but like the pieces are like made of stone or something.
Yeah,
We have-
that has to exist. There has to be like really nice Othello boards out there.
There's gotta be.
Yeah, that was a really fun game.
Because we had like the basic board, and as it is, the basic set that you would buy like off the shelf is already kind of like lush.
Yeah,
You know, it's like
it's got
like
like the felt.
yeah. It's like it like feels nice. Like when you like set the pieces down, they make like a very satisfying like quiet like muffled thud.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's pretty great.
A quaffled thud.
A quaffled.
That was just the sound that came out. I was going to say muffled thud, but
Oh,
no,
I
that's
like
what happened.
quaffled. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a quiet muffle.
Yeah, a quiet muffle. Exactly.
It's like
Quaffled.
yeah, quaffled.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds fun. Yeah. I bet Connect 4 is a really easy game to invent, you'd think.
Seems like it
You
could
know?
be. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, so like, I mean, it would be Checkers absolutely feels
Yeah.
like I mean, this is like one of those things. So like I always gave this example like when I was like selling like aquarium related stuff, but typically in your aquarium you would have like your air quotes cleanup crew, which in a marine aquarium would almost always involve snails and hermit crabs. And the thing I would always tell people is like hermit crabs steal shells from snails, which is how you know that snails came before hermit crabs, because snails can create their own shell.
Oh.
And then like the hermit crab lives inside of an abandoned snail shell.
Oh, interesting.
But like hermit crabs can't make their own shell. They
Yeah,
just
they're
steal
just
them.
stealing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hoarders.
They're just hoarders. I
You know what? I would bet. I wonder if like I would bet like gambling. Like I mean, it's hard to like gamble without there being like a game around it, but it feels like gambling itself is sort of like a precursor to a lot of games, because in almost everything you do in life is like some form of like betting or like using past experiences like to predict the future.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh yeah, I looked at the weather today and it said it's going to be sunny, so I feel comfortable going to the pool all day. And it's like, now that's not like much of a gamble, but like it could rain. You know, like you're using your experience to determine that it's going to be hot outside.
Well,
and
I
it's
mean,
like that's your light gamble. Like you are playing like a little bit of a game with the weather, even though not really.
Right. I mean, and that it's even like an interesting foray into just like basically like how business would be created hard stop. Like if there was somebody, you know, like if you're in like a civilization where you've got like hunters and gatherers, for example, and the hunters go out and they try to like, you know, fell a deer and they bring it back, and then like the civilization shares the deer that like the hunters went out and got together.
Hunting is a game.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that like, you know, if like an early business that you like very quickly you're betting on yourself. Like if you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm so much better at going out. Like I'm certain that I can come back with a deer every day, but I don't need a deer every day in order to feed my family. So if I just go out every day, I bet I can get one, and then I can like
Barter.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you're starting to see like how quickly and easily the basis for society starts to like
Right.
form together.
Right.
Yeah. But like in order to get there in the first place, you have to have technology that is good enough in order for the civilizations themselves to have a leg up on the resources around them. Again, this goes back to that
Yeah.
like
Tools.
tools. You
Yeah.
have to have enough leisure time in order to like start to excel enough to have excess,
Right.
which is necessary for a business to start. Man, we're just like basically inventing society over
Yeah.
here.
Oh, I get it. I see how we got here.
I see. It all makes sense. When you think it through, it all makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if we want to switch gears to instead of cavemen and we want to fast forward to like the modern era completely.
Okay.
I saw that you had a note in the show notes for today, and it
Yeah,
was
okay.
something that I have like definite thoughts on, and so
Okay.
I was like, okay, like let's talk about that. And so the thing that has just recently happened that I'm sure anybody listening is at least somewhat familiar with is the fact that Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, just recently purchased Twitter,
Yeah.
which is just like a sentence that didn't feel like it ever needed to.
Didn't need to. It doesn't seem like it needed to exist. Also, even just like the lead up to it was like at one point he wanted to, and then something fell through, and then they like made him do it or something.
Yeah.
Like reluctantly, and then like even though he took reluctant ownership, he's like, well, here's a bunch of changes.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's always hard to know like what's happening like behind closed doors,
For sure.
as well with this type of stuff. But I find myself in a very very like bizarre, fairly withdrawn crossroads when it comes to this situation. And one of them is that like I am inclined to agree with like the general sentiment that like a single person probably shouldn't have so much power that they are able to purchase this much ability or control over like a primary communication channel.
Yeah.
Like that seems like it has like its own ramifications that can be like worrisome in general, is my sort of thought about it. But then like I know that a lot of people have talked about how it has made Twitter worse. To which I generally respond to thinking
How?
Twitter was already bad.
This
Like,
has been the phenomenon I have been witnessing over the past week, because you're not even on Twitter.
I'm not. So I haven't been on Twitter for like 2 years
Yeah.
too. So like
Yeah.
I'm pretty well like withdrawn from it. So I was not impacted by this. I will say that, hands in the air. Like I don't get my news from Twitter. I don't communicate via Twitter. I don't I don't have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
So
It's just been very funny because like so much of what Twitter is right now is people complaining about how Twitter is worse. Like, but to me, I'm like, what? Like, I feel like everyone kind of agreed Twitter wasn't great anyway.
yeah.
Or like it's like, or I don't know. People, I see like a lot of tweets like, oh, everything is just like nonstop, political discourse, or just people arguing all the time now. And it's like, guys, I don't know what blindfolds you've had it on, but that's what it's been like since, I don't know, 2013. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And this is, it's like one of those things too, where it's like, I am sure that there are like corners of like the, I don't know, infrastructure of communication as it exists in the modern era that like Twitter like holds up. Like I remember early on when you would see like news sources like quoting a tweet from like a politician or whatever, and it was like, okay, we're gonna need like a more primary resource than a tweet.
Right.
It was almost like I was like very unwilling to like okay, like tweets don't count. Like that's not like a real way to like us inject into like a the Wall Street Journal. Like you wouldn't say like a tweet from blah 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 said blah blah blah. It's like, okay, yeah, no, it's got to be like an official like press release or something.
Right.
And that the fact that I can remember thinking that way is almost funny to me now, because like so much of like the way that like public figures communicate with the world is through statements on Twitter.
Yeah. It's very interesting because like, you don't, I don't know like how much weight any individual like person's tweet carries. And so I'm always, I don't know. It's always like, I always think like, what if we just stop Twitter? Like, are people even reading your own tweets, that much? I feel like like you and I, have like a pretty good audience and stuff. And, if we send something out there, we almost are guaranteed to get some reaction or some sort of reply or interaction or something. But I feel like, a lot of people, I bet, don't, put a ton of tweets out there and get minimal response.
Sure.
Or like, again, we've said this on the pod before. Like, I don't know any people in real life who have Twitter. And I don't know if that makes us like a weird like bubble or something. But I don't know. Not a single one of my in-person friends has Twitter.
Yeah. That is the thing that I think continuously blows my mind, and I can't tell if it's like where we like live, whether or not like we're like somehow like insulated from this, or like where you would go where it would like be like much more common for like you and all of your friends to be like, oh yeah, I saw your tweet, like, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not in the same capacity. And it's not to say like people I know don't have like every single person I know has like an Instagram and uses it.
Right.
Like it's far less common to like it's like specifically this one platform that I don't know anybody that's interacting on. And there's a part of me that has like a lot of like trepidation about even talking about Twitter, because I feel like there's like a part of me, it's like just by talking about it, I feel like I'm like causing like negative reverberations to go out there in the world. I'm even like half tempted to be like, email me your thoughts. And then there's another part of me that's like, that's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
no.
like what's going to happen? Because there's not really a side of it that somebody could send me and be like, oh my gosh, no, you were wrong. Because it's like, I don't even have a stance, like I am I'm just speculating. It's like, is there a world where like where Twitter goes away and it's just like a better world?
Gosh, that's what I was literally thinking about that in the shower this morning. Like, what if we just stopped using the Bird app? Then like, what would we do? How would it change the entire world if Twitter did not exist? Like, would it be better? Because I'm like there's so many people yelling at each other, but at the same time there are big statements or quotes from organizations and people and politicians and stuff that's like, okay, or like, like even if you're like watching ESPN, it'll be like, here's a tweet from this, athlete about their performance last night or how they felt about the game or this thing. And it's like, okay, I can see how it's useful for, maybe it wouldn't have been very easy for that player to communicate their opinion with their community before now.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is that like from there, like whenever you get like a piece of like information, it's like, I think one of the things that Twitter seems to excel at, and I don't even know if I would call it like a pro of the platform in general, but it is very good at distilling out a sentiment. It's weird because the end product in my mind is like take vanilla extract, because I like to bake, right? So like vanilla extract is like the essence of vanilla that has been like brought down into such extreme concentrate that you can use a very small amount of it to make the rest of your dish taste really, really good.
Yeah.
But like if you've ever just tried to just eat or consume straight vanilla extract, it's awful.
Right.
And so it's like whenever I look at like Twitter, I feel like a lot of times what's happening is that like we're extracting out a sentiment. And the problem is that like the extracted sentiment, while in its purest form, is the essence of the general opinion that is like been like left in the bottom of the pan once everything else like fizzled off.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want that.
Right.
You take like, it's not wrong. It is, but it's like it's too much of the thing. It's too thick. It's too congealed.
Yeah.
At the bottom.
Right.
You have to go and like spread that across at least some toast or something.
Yeah, you're right. There is like Twitter concentrate out there that, is deadly and can ruin your whole day.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like that's the part of me where it's almost like, do we just need to like figure out, and this is probably true of everything, where it's like if all of us all at once collectively, you could snap your fingers and be like, okay, like I'm going to take Twitter with a grain of salt all of a sudden. Like I know not to take it too seriously, like learn what I can from it, but like nothing more than that. It's like that would probably simultaneously both destroy the product itself, because then all of a sudden you don't have such intensity in the expression that comes like from it, but it would also then allow people to probably take the appropriate amount from it. So I don't know. It's just it's just a weird one. Like I keep thinking about like as you like pan through like human existence over time, and you can like see certain discoveries like being made, or like phases that have existed that like come and then go, or we like learn better, or like, you know, eventually you get far enough away from a thing to where you're able to like look back on it and be like, oh man, like that was really causing like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like we're in the middle of it right now. It's
Could
like,
be.
like I don't know if we'll ever have like the, like
We're
the
not in a
true-
brain calm right now.
We're not in a yeah.
Yeah.
We're not in a
As it
brain
were.
calm.
Throwback.
but-
Can I tell you someone just, I don't know if you've heard about some of these things, but I would just love your feedback on them. Some of
Okay.
the
All right, let 'em.
ridiculous things that has been happening on Twitter though.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know about like the blue check mark, your verified account or whatever.
Yes.
Yes. So I feel like the very first change that happened as soon as like the Elon Musk era of Twitter began was you could suddenly pay $8 to get a blue check mark.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a real problem with this.
Well, I mean, the thing about the blue check mark in general is that it is, by design, it is supposed to confirm that you are, in fact, like vetted, like a human being went through and determined like this account is officially the account. So like take our dad, for example,
Yeah.
who has been like a news anchor for the past 30 years. It's like if he so desired, I don't even think he's active on Twitter, but if he so desired, he could probably pretty easily achieve a blue check mark faster than you or I could, because he is like a public figure who can be found as like a presenter of the news.
Right.
And if like people were going and there were like 10 John Carlin pages, like WSLS or whatever, which is the TV station he works for, like it could potentially be damaging if one of them is going on there and just like literally reporting stuff that is just completely inaccurate,
Right.
like intentionally, and that can cause a different form of chaos. So the idea, I think, behind the blue check mark was to say like, check, this is confirmed, like there's 25 other John Carlin accounts, this is the one that is like the news anchor who you see on TV.
Right.
It's not an endorsement like necessarily from Twitter to say like, you know, whatever he says is good, you should follow it. But
Right.
it just means that like at the very least, this is that person.
Well, I'm glad, Ben, you, ex-Twitter user of 2 years, immediately identified the problem. Because guess who immediately started signing up for blue check marks? All of the parody accounts.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And why not? You know, it's
I
like,
know.
I'm verified.
Like, guess what? Kaboom. So you know what Twitter's response was?
What's that?
To add an official badge.
What? That's like that. It does itself.
I know.
It's like
I know.
that's the problem. Oh my gosh. If anything, that just like the problem is that there's a period of time. People will eventually come to realize that now the blue check mark doesn't mean what it formerly meant, and now you need a different like marker, which is going to eventually just have like the same. This is like where like when certain words become like you know, earmarked or like associated with like something like very negative.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the word has the meaning it has because of like what we've like provided to
Right.
that word.
Yeah.
But like if history is any indication, humans will find different ways to be mean.
Yeah. No doubt.
and-
I mean, yeah, it's like it felt very much to me like like an even worse somehow version of like having the bell and the subscribe button on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
subscribe. Tell me when new videos are posted. Okay, cool. Hit the bell so you get notifications about when the videos. It was like, isn't that what the first button is?
I was like, why do we have two of
Why do
these?
you have two of these? Why doesn't the subscribe button just do that to begin with? You know, I don't know. It's weird you have both.
Yeah.
But so there was the blue check mark, and then I think I saw screenshots of people who had like a blue check mark and then a gray check mark and then also a third like official badge or something. So it was like, I don't know what is happening right now.
I would like a small yellow duck.
Exactly.
To go next to my
Yeah, I
name.
want a yellow duck badge on mine.
I will pay for my yellow duck badge.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
This could be our social media app, Ben. It's just called Quacker. You know,
or just quack.
just quack.
Just come and quack.
It's just quack. Come out here and quack, guys. No one will hear the echo.
Quacks don't echo.
Quack. I don't know. That's like one of those like facts people like to say about ducks that I don't know if it's true.
If a duck quacks in a cave, does it even make an echo?
I know. I'm like, that doesn't sound like that's how sound works. But people will, I've heard that before, like quacks don't echo. I'm like, that doesn't sound like how sound works. But maybe that's why it's a fun fact.
Maybe that
or
is.
Or maybe it's just like, it's like this sort of thing that you could believe because you're like, oh, I guess quacks don't.
It's like, but when you hear it, it's like you can like hear a quack in your head and you're like,
Okay, this is a great example.
I buy that.
I talked about this before, about the kind of thing I'd be embarrassed to even Google. You know,
oh, like, you don't want it like in your Google history.
Not even that I don't want it in my Google history. That I don't want the pride of my brain to. It's like I don't want my brain to find out that it didn't know. You know.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Do you ever have that?
I think that as time has gone on, I have just completely, as much as I'm able to just come to terms with the fact that, like, I just don't know a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think that I have a whole lot of pride left about it. I think even like you and I do the Jay versus Ben show on Super Carlin Brothers, and I historically lose always. And I think that like as time has gone on, I have generally like. I used to care a lot more. Like, not that I don't care. Like, it's still fun to, like, go and compete and stuff like that. But, like, it used to, like, bother me. Like, I would be, like, upset after each, like, recording and being like, I can't, like, I've got to win. I have got to win. And eventually I think I was just like, yeah, I'm probably not going to win. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still fun.
Okay, so I just looked it up, and apparently ducks' quacks do echo.
I knew it.
I know.
I knew it all along.
I was like, it's like, it's sound. Of course it echoes.
How could it not echo?
How could it not
it's
echo?
Like the only way for it to not echo, and of course now I'm standing here, now that I know the answer, you could just be lying to me too. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing would that be?
No, this is what I'm reading right now based on acoustic professor proves ducks do echo. Line science.
Okay.
Scientists have solved one of the acoustic world's riddles. It is a myth. They will announce today that a duck's quack has no echo. Okay, so there you go. That's what that headline says anyway.
Okay.
It just makes it's like based on some other headlines, it seems like maybe the reason this like surfaced at all is because ducks just happen to live in places that don't have places where the sound would bounce.
Echoic properties?
Yes, echoic properties, Ben.
Yeah. Thanks.
They live in acoustically unsound places.
I like it. Oh, man, go Ducks.
Ben. Speaking of ducks, I'm just going to say it out loud. And I'm even going to, maybe this is going to be part of me manifesting it, okay?
Okay.
I've realized
that
I think one of my ambitions in life is to, we've already been talking about games on the show, is to like have created a game that people can play. Okay. And I'm always like, that sounds so fun. I have no idea. Like what's it going to be? I feel like, but here we go. I feel like last night it was actually Nate. We were playing downstairs with some Hot Wheels cars and he was holding up a truck that had flames on it and he can't quite say fire truck, so he said FIREDUCK, and I was like, FIREDUCK, that sounds awesome, and I was like, oh my gosh, and it, like something clicked into my brain that like a flaming duck feels like a character like on a card in a game, like that would be like the name of the card, like FIREDUCK. And
Wow.
I was like, wow, and ducks, it's so perfect. It's already like on brand. So I don't know what the game is, but I can tell you, Ben, there are fire ducks in it.
There are fire ducks.
There are fire ducks in the game. And
I
they
like
do
it.
something.
I like it. Okay. So we basically have our starting off.
We have a starting point.
We have a starting point, and I can imagine the art in my head too.
Right. Oh yeah.
I wonder if the other cards are also ducks.
Oh, I think so. I think that was then I had some other things flood in. I was like, oh, we could have like wood duck, right? But it's like a duck made out of wood though, not like a traditional wood duck.
Like it, yeah.
You could have like the great mallard, obviously. We could have some personal stuff in there from like the GMA.
Can we have a supersonic quack card?
I don't see why not, Ben. You could
Echo heard around the world.
The echo heard around the world. The quackless, the echoless quack or whatever.
Right.
Oh man, it's all coming together.
You could play one card that's just like Deep Cavern, absorbs all quacks. Your quack does not count.
Yeah.
Deep Cavern.
That's right, Deep Cavern. I'm playing quackers.
Oh, man.
See, it's already coming together. We've already got there's already things happening.
I like quackers.
Yeah.
Quackers could be like crackers, but they're like quackers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what you feed your duck cards.
Exactly. You feed them. Yeah. You want some more quackers. So I don't know. We need like something for the ducks to be doing with their little super duck powers and stuff.
Okay.
probably some sort of battling. I'm not sure what yet, but if you design card games or are a crafter of game design, reach out. We have many duck-themed cards we would like to make, or that I want to make as part of something I did while I was alive.
So what if like you're trying to like get your ducks across the field into a cup?
Oh my gosh! Of
You know,
course,
it's like
ducks go in cups.
it's like that, and that's just like you're like literally trying to get them to like mosey their way across.
Right, you have to like advance them, but then there's like the enemy ducks are trying to get into the other cup.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, this sounds like freaking awesome.
You know what else would be cool? Because
Yeah.
I've always thought that like what would be a really fun board game is basically, so I like a good tower defense game.
Yeah.
Are there tower defense board games? Like it seems like
feels like there has to be.
it feels like there has to be. So like I like a world where maybe this is part of it. Like so you get to like play your cards and your cards start to become like your towers, and your towers affect whether or not your duck can make it across the field to the other.
Oh,
the other
this
side.
this could be interesting. This could be interesting. Like, yeah, you have to, like, maybe are the towers against you? Are you going down the path instead? It's like a reverse tower game. Like you have to get through the towers, or is one person the towers and one person the ducks?
Oh no, I think that both teams have towers who are trying to defend their cup.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then like your then your duck has to get through their towers.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Tower defense duck game.
I like it.
Tower ducks.
Tower ducks. Yeah. There's got to be a better version.
There's
of that
okay.
name.
We're gonna workshop that name, people.
We'll workshop the name. But if you have any thoughts, you can send them over to popcornculturepod@gmail.com.
Be on the lookout for the Kickstarter, y'all. We'll have people, epic shots of people doing, sketches, concept art.
Yeah, probably like a blueprint.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You gotta have a blueprint.
There's always that.
We'll have someone like dropping a duck from a bridge.
probably.
Probably not a live duck, like a toy duck. We'll be like, look, it survived, because I feel like most Kickstarter videos are actually about a new phone case. That's the best phone case ever, and they're always dropping it from a bridge.
They always dropping it. That's true. And then they also have to have like a line of like all the prototypes that they went through.
Wow.
And, like,
Look at all the engineering that went into this.
I know, and it's a lot of engineering which people are surprised by because it's a board game.
Because
But you know what? When it comes down to it, it was necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only way to get to where we were going.
Yeah.
Probably also have to have like someone sitting at a table where they're using like a tablet to like draw.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
You got to have that. Yeah.
All the classic tropes.
You got to have a lot of like balled up, the designs that these didn't work out.
These didn't quite work out.
Look at all the progress we've made because of all the ones that failed.
We probably work in an office where almost everything is like wood grain and also then just like white.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's like a plant.
It's like dimly lit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though there's like a lot of windows.
So it's like, guys, there's which direction are you facing that there's not more sunlight in this space?
Yeah. We could have some pretty epic voiceover as well.
Yeah, we could do
just
that.
like whenever we were kids, how this was our dream.
One day we knew.
One
Ducks,
day we knew.
Cups
Ducks.
coming to a store near you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. As long as you support this Kickstarter.
If you support at the $15 tier, you get the holographic duck card.
Wow, $15.
Yeah. No, that's way too cheap for that. You're
I
right.
was gonna
that's like
say,
a $75 tier level or something.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And then you got like the founder tier as
You
well.
got the founder tier. You get your
name on the box.
Get your name on the box. Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
You get you get early to the pre-release.
Oh
stuff,
yeah, of
but
course, right? We'll
yeah.
probably have like a red carpet event or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's all coming together, man. I can't wait to launch our brand new Duck Tower Defense FIREDUCK board game.
It's gonna be really good.
It is gonna be really good.
I'm excited for it. And I agree with you. I feel like it's destiny.
Yeah.
And
Let your
people-
brain calm chew on this, Ben.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it'll probably go down in history as like regarded as one of those strategic games comparable to like chess.
Chess.
Yeah.
Yes. People
Yeah.
will be like, when? No, we don't have the name yet.
Quackers.
When did quackers get invented? When was that first invented? It's really taken the whole world by storm.
Bobby Fischer signs on as official something.
Yeah.
Is Bobby Fischer the
He's like the
class-
chess guy.
He's like the chess guy.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
pretty good.
He's probably super into quackers.
I don't even know if Bobby Fischer's still alive.
Well,
Is he?
well, I'm sure we can find someone else. I'm pretty sure there's another young lad who's extremely famous for his.
We could have a world championship, Ben.
A
It would
world
be great. World
championship.
champion ducks in cups.
I'm excited for it.
Maybe there's like an actual part of the game where you have to like throw a duck Like, it's like a really physical part of it.
A physical aspect.
Yeah.
It does seem like there could be like that like layer of chances. Like you get to the end of it and then you still have to have like the necessary like almost like beer pong prowess.
Exactly,
To
right?
throw this irregularly shaped ball
Right,
into
like
this
the
like
strategy will get you like 95% of the way there, but if you can't land a duck in a cup, get out of here.
yeah, you do not have a place in this scheme. Okay, this is gonna be fun, elaborate, exciting. Yeah, very creatively fulfilling, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Go. Stir the calm. Have a little brain-a-cane over there.
A brain-a-cane,
A brain-a-cane.
stir the calm.
Yeah.
This is all really great verbiage
Yeah.
associated with my brain calm. All right, it's on. Otherwise, guys, if you would like in on some other Jay and Ben creative action, we do have a really fun tier for Q4 over on the Patreon. It's the exclusive merch tier where Jay and I are going to be recording an exclusive episode of D&D with the other members of the SCB office here, which I'm extremely excited about. And attached with that exclusive merch tier, you will also get a like custom designed complete set of RPG dice.
Yep.
It's all 7 dice. Every single face of the dice has been customized to be popcorn culturified. I'm really, really excited to see them, IRL in the flesh.
I can't wait to see him.
Yeah.
I'm also told that the D&D campaign, fittingly, will involve ducks.
Yes, it will.
Yeah,
It will.
okay.
There may or may not be.
Don't even say it. It's a
breathes-
surprise.
It breathes rainbows.
It breathes rainbows.
I'm pretty happy about it. That's patreon.com/popcorn culture. But otherwise, until next time.
Pop, pop.